you like my setup? Got some candles. You can't even see that one, it's behind me. There's more behind me. But we got the fall vibe for my fall TBR video, which took me so long to finally be able to film, but we're here, yay! So I got a new mug. One that when I hold up with my right hand, you can see the design. Because most of the time, you have to hold it with your left hand for it to see out, because usually it's like facing you. But this time, I strategically got one that you guys could see as well, so I can hold it in my dominant hand. And no, this is not tea. Can you guess in the comments what this might be? We'll see. Gotta wipe all the oil off my face so it's not super shiny, because I didn't put any powder on. Because I'm lazy. So hopefully this works and I'm not just like bright red right now from rubbing my face. Okay, so I have a lot to get through today, and this is a very ambitious TBR, so don't hold me accountable to it, please. I will do my best, but like to give you a sense, last year I had 26 books on my 2024 fall TBR. I read 12 of them. I think that's pretty great. Like, I'm proud of myself for that. 3 of them are on this TBR, but the rest have kind of disappeared. What I tried to do, I think a reason I didn't get to a lot of them last year is because I didn't have them. So I did try to pick up a bunch of the ones that I was missing that I didn't own already for this TBR, but the majority of this TBR is ones that I own. So hopefully that will help me get through it faster. But if you want to check out my video from 2024, I'm really proud of that one as well. Please take a look. Still relevant, you know. I still recommend those books. Not recommend. I still want to read the ones that I didn't read, and then I still recommend the ones that I did read, which you wouldn't know from that video which ones those are, but oh well. So when putting together this TBR, it was really difficult for me, surprisingly, because I have my like 10 fall anticipated releases video that I put out, which technically those are all on my TBR for fall. So check out that, please, because that is like part 1 to this video kind of, but I also have a lot more that I already own that I want to get to as well. So like I said, it's ambitious. This is a giant TBR. So hopefully this video doesn't get too long, but hopefully the vibes are here. You grab some coffee if you're in the morning, or tea, or, you know, a little wine in the evening, depending on when you're watching this. But get cozy, because we're gonna be here for a while. So it took me a long time to like actually narrow down what I wanted to put on this list. I had many iterations, and I still am not sure how I feel about this list. I mean, it's great. Like, they're all great books. I don't know, there's so many books out there. This list doesn't feel like super fall, but it like is extremely fall. So I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe it's because, I don't know. You let me know at the end if it like what was missing, if anything. I'm probably just being delusional and everything's fine. I'm fine. I broke it out by category, as I usually do. Kind of. I'm not selling this well, am I? But let's just get to it. I don't want to blabber on for a really long time. Let me have a sip of my special drink. Okay, let's do it. So to start off, I'm going to talk about books that I'm not really going to talk about because I mentioned in my mid-year freakout tag that is on my fall TBR. First one is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. I plan on reading that this fall. I think I get a special book box version this month that I'm excited for, and hopefully I'll share that with you. And then also I plan on reading Mate, which is the sequel to Ali Hazelwood. So just throwing those out there. I talked about them before. Did I just say the sequel to Ali Hazelwood? No, it's the sequel to Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So I'm throwing those out there. I'm not going to talk about those a ton because I already did, and I don't think you guys need to know what those are about, but if you do, go look it up. So my first category, I think there's only 2 books on this list, and that is like newer releases for fall. One is a fantasy, one is a horror, I believe. So these I just got today because I spent a lot of money on books today. I'll be doing like some short videos of my shopping experience, but yeah, my bank account hurts pretty bad right now. Okay, so this one came out in July. I honestly haven't heard anyone talk about it, but the premise is really interesting to me, so hopefully I enjoy it. And that is The Library at Hellebore, I think that's how you say it, by Cassandra Kaw. And let me tell you what this one's about, because it's a wild ride. And yes, I did have lovely ChatGPT help me make these synopses so they are easily digestible. So, The Library at Hellebore follows Alessa Lee, a dangerous young woman who wakes up to find herself forcibly enrolled at the Hellebore Technical Institute for the Gifted, a school designed to contain the most destructive magical beings in existence. On graduation day, the faculty reveal their true nature by launching a horrifying attack on the students. A handful of survivors, including Alessa, barricade themselves inside the school's vast library, only to discover its own malevolent sentience. Faced with the deadly 3-day standoff, they must remain together and make unthinkable sacrifices to survive the relentless onslaught. Dark academia, emphasis on dark. I'm hoping it's bloody. I'm hoping it's gory. I'm hoping it is more on the horror side, because that's right up my alley. And I think I saw the Goodreads rating and it was pretty low. I think it was like a 3.3, but I'm gonna make my own judgment on this, because what someone might hate, I might love. So we will go with that. And I'm hopeful that I will like it, but starting off with a bang. The next book came out in June, and it's by a Japanese author, and I saw this on social media. I forgot which platform, but it's a really interesting book. There's two of the same kind of book, but this is one of them because I just picked one to start with. And this is Strange Houses by Uketsu. Yes, I said that right. And it's the chilling Japanese mystery sensation, translated by Jim Rion. And so this is a kind of horror murder mystery, I believe. And it's based around floor plans. I don't know if you can see, there's a bunch of floor plans, and that's part of the mystery that you have to solve within this book. And there's one called Strange Pictures as well. So it's kind of a series, but I assume you can read them individually. And that one has pictures in the book as well. And so I'm very curious, but I'll read you what the synopsis is. A writer obsessed with strange, unsettling homes is approached by a friend interested in buying a house in Tokyo. At first glance, the house seems lovely, but the floor plan reveals oddities: a dead space between walls, a child's bedroom with no windows, and other architectural quirks. Curious, the writer enlists the help of his architect friend, Kurihara, to investigate. As they dig deeper, they uncover mysterious disappearances, disturbing rumors connected to former occupants, and more houses with similarly bizarre layouts. What begins as a puzzle about floor plans turns into something far darker than either of them anticipated. I am an architecture nerd. I used to want to be an architect. I went to an architecture summer class at a art college. So I think I will really enjoy this. Weird floor plans, sign me up, please. It's supposed to be horror, so I'm excited. And I hope I like it enough to want to pick up his other book. So I think it's a he. It's another one. We got another one where it's a mysterious person. We don't know who the author is. I love it. But yeah, horror. They specialize in horror. Oh no, it's a he. It says his and he. Okay, I'm not butchering his pronouns. Yes. Okay. So, excited about this one. Next, we get into categories with books that I own or that have been out for a while already or were on my TBR previously. So, we start off with the classics I want to read for fall. And it's not a long list. There's only 2 of them because I want to start slowly. I have a big classics TBR. That's a lifetime TBR. That is not something I'm planning on reading in the next year or 2. That's a very long list, and a lot of those are really long books. So, you gotta give a girl some time. So, first one, and I'm actually really excited to read this one now after just finishing a certain book with a similar theme that references this book. You'll know exactly which book I'm talking about, hopefully, once I show you what this book is. But yeah, very intrigued to actually read this now, more so than I was before. But this is Inferno by Dante. Dante's Inferno, and yes, it is his descent to hell. And I don't really need to give you more information, but I will, because I've never actually, like, I think given a synopsis of this, so I thought it'd be interesting to see what ChatGPT came up with. So here we go. In Inferno, the first part of Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, which I don't know if I will read the other parts, it depends how much I like this. This is just part one, it's not the entire book. The poet Dante finds himself lost in a dark forest, symbolizing a crisis in his life. He is guided by the Roman poet Virgil on a journey through the 9 circles of hell, where he witnesses the punishments of souls condemned for various sins. Each circle reveals deeper truths about human nature, justice, and morality, as Dante moves closer to understanding his own path to redemption. Exactly what you thought it would be, but now I'm curious if once I read this, I'll want to read Virgil's Aeneid, because that's, I think, what this is based off of, because Virgil is the same Virgil as the Virgil in this book, I think. Also referenced in the book I just finished. So I'm curious if I really want to, like, dive into, like, hell literature. But so far I've been intrigued, so we will see. But that is the first classic. The second classic probably comes as no surprise, but you gotta throw a vampire book in here. And if anything, the most iconic vampire book is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Having seen Nosferatu last year, or was it this year? I think it was last year. I am dying to read this. And having been surprised by Frankenstein as much as I was, I think I will really enjoy this. And so obviously you know what this is about, but you also don't know what this is about, because if you think of the classic Dracula monster movie, it's not that. It is Nosferatu, so if you have seen that, then you definitely know what this is about, which I didn't realize that was more accurate than, you know, the classic Dracula monster movie. But I will give you a synopsis, because we never get synopses for classics. At least I never give them, so I'm doing it tonight. So Dracula follows a young English solicitor, Jonathan Harker, who travels to Transylvania to assist a mysterious count with a real estate transaction. What begins as a routine business trip soon takes a dark and sinister turn. As strange events unfold across England and beyond, a group of individuals must come together to confront an ancient evil that threatens to consume them all. Told through journal entries, letters, and newspaper clippings, the novel weaves a chilling tale of suspense, mystery, and the battle between good and evil. I mean, we know what the evil, ancient evil is already, because, you know, this was written a long time ago. But I'm excited to do, like, the OG vampire book, even though I know, yes, there's Carmilla, there's other things that were written before it, which I will get to eventually, probably, but, you know, it's Dracula. Next we have short story collections, which, guys, I finished my first short story collection ever, finally, recently, so I'm excited to read more, even though I still have like 5 unread or unfinished ones that I'm in the middle of, but why not start some more? They're short story collections. There's no timeline, right? I have 2 on this list. These won't be much of a surprise because these are from a more recent book haul, but the first one is Sleepy Hollow, stories by Washington Irving. And it's not just Sleepy Hollow, like the legend of Sleepy Hollow is the official name of the story, but it's a bunch of other short stories by Washington Irving, like Rip Van Winkle, The Spectre Bridegroom, The Devil and Tom Walker, The Pride of the Village, and Old Christmas. Do you want to see? Once again, love this cover, but I at least, like, my plan is to read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, mainly. I don't expect to finish this book because, I don't know, that's the one I'm the most interested in. So I'm going to give you a synopsis about The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, even though it's a short story. It is pretty long for a short story though, I would say. I think. I'm not entirely sure. But Set in a quiet, superstitious village in post-Revolutionary War New York, the legend of Sleepy Hollow follows Ichabod Crane, a schoolteacher who arrives in the eerie town of Sleepy Hollow. He becomes entangled in a rivalry for the affection of a local heiress, all while unsettling tales of ghosts and the legendary Headless Horseman haunt the region. As tensions rise, Ichabod finds himself caught between folklore and reality in this classic American ghost story. Perfect for fall, am I right? And the next one I'm actually really excited for, but it's pretty chunky for a short story collection, so I don't know if I'll be able to actually finish it. And that is Never Whistle at Night by I guess this is an anthology of short stories, right? That means there's like multiple authors and not just one, right? The short story collection is like of one author, and then an anthology is multiple authors, right? I think so. Yes. I'm stupid. It says it literally on the cover, like, anthology. Okay. You know, it's late at night, guys. I'm not going to read you all the authors. I think I read that to you in the book haul that I did, but this is basically a collection. I'm going to read from ChatGPT now. A collection of 26 horror and dark fiction short stories by Indigenous authors, weaving together folklore, ancestral beliefs, supernatural elements, and personal and cultural trauma. The core idea stems from Indigenous taboos around whistling at night. Various legends warn that doing so can summon spirits, curse, or evil beings. Each story explores how breaking or engaging with this warning leads characters into haunted landscapes, psychic burdens, sometimes monstrous entities, and often reckoned with legacies they've inherited. It shifts between modern and historical settings, rural and urban, offering both classic horror chills and thoughtful reflections on identity, memory, and survival. Sounds pretty great to me, honestly. And, you know, Tommy Orange is in this, and I love him. So I'm very curious to see if I'll like a short story, though, because I was reading another one, like Out There Screaming, edited by Jordan Peele. I'm like a third of the way through that book. I haven't touched it in like 2 years, I think, sadly, but I remember reading like N.K. Jemisin's story, and I wasn't like that amazed by it, and I love her writing. But you know, short stories are different. You never know. They're hit or miss for everyone, so that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm fine. Next category, we got dark fantasy, and it's a sip time. Yes, we're making eye contact right now. Are you uncomfortable? There are 2 books in this category as well. I think a lot of the categories have 2 books, I'm not gonna lie. But that means there's more categories. Yay. Okay, let me find these. Okay, category is dark fantasy. I know that encompasses a lot. One of them is dark academia. One of them is like fantasy horror, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. But we'll start with the one that is actually also a buddy read with Curious Cat, and that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. We plan on reading this month. I think we picked the end of September, so it will come up sooner than we think. So Kat, let me know when you want to start this. There's a lot going on right now, but I am so excited to finally do this, and I'm so glad Kat wanted to do a buddy read, because it would like actually force me to read this book, because I've been putting it off for so long, and I absolutely loved Sword of Kaigen that I read in January of this year. So it's about time I read the dark academia other novel by Emma Wong, and you know I love dark academia, so I gotta rack up the list of dark academia books I can recommend to everyone. And I know this is gonna be great. Everyone says great things. I've literally never heard anything bad about this book, so I'm excited to read it, and I'm excited to read with Kat. But because I want to kind of go into this like more blind, I don't really want to know a ton about what happens. Like, I've read this synopsis many times on the actual cover, but I'm gonna give you like a shorter one even, because you should read it without knowing more about it as well. You know, I think that's the best way to enter books. In a magical city shielded by a deadly blight, Siona Freynan becomes the first woman admitted to the elite high magistry. But as she delves into forbidden research, she uncovers the dark cost of the city's power, forcing her to choose between ambition and justice. And then I know this in cover says that like she's partnered with a janitor because of, I think, racism or sexism or something along those lines. And I know I've heard people cry a lot at this book, so I'm scared, but I know it's gonna be great, so I'm excited to read it finally this month. Yay! Yay. I feel a little insane. Am I insane? Am I like giving you creepy smiles constantly? I think so. Next book. This I think is like more horror fantasy, but it's been compared to Pure Nessie. And this recommendation I got from Ellen at the Ellen Made Book Club, so thank you, Ellen. Maybe I'll read it before you do. I don't know. We'll see, but I am excited. You know, I'm a big Pure Nessie fan, and this one sounds really interesting and creepy and fun. So I will read you the ChatGPT summary. I don't know why I keep reminding you that I use ChatGPT for this because I'm lazy, but it is what it is. In an unspecified time and place, two elderly sisters, Evelyn and Lily, live in a walled garden, isolated from the outside world. Their days revolve around tending to their home, following the guidance of the almanac written by their mother. Their solitary existence is disrupted when a nameless boy is found hiding in a boarded-up house at the center of the garden. This encounter forces them to confront unsettling truths about themselves and the world they've known. I hope it goes kind of dark. I hope it's kind of weird. This cover is interesting. And I don't know. I'm curious. This is also a pretty new release, I think. I don't know. I don't think books... No, they do. What am I saying? Of course books say when they're released. It's just like a few pages in. So let me tell you. This was released this year. Does it tell me a month? I don't think it tells me a month, but I remember this was in one of Ellen's anticipated releases, monthly anticipated releases video. So I'll link that below if I can find it, and you should go check it out. Next, we have two cozy fantasy books because you gotta throw in some cozy with the horror, the spooky, the dark fantasy. And these, I'm hoping, are very lighthearted. The first one is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This has been on my list for so long, and I really want to get to it by the end of the year. And I forgot to mention this, but like my fall TBR is like to the end of the year. Like winter starts in January for LA people, so fall goes through December. Yeah. So I hope to read this by the end of the year. This is on my 25 to read in 2025 list, along with a few others on this TBR, maybe. Just a few, maybe, like one or two. But I really want to get to this because it sounds really lovely. And I'll tell you what it's about. The story follows a solitary unicorn who realizes she may be the last of her kind. Determined to find out what happened to the others, she embarks on a journey filled with magic, danger, and unexpected friendships. Along the way, she discovers truths about herself, courage, and the nature of immortality. She is the last unicorn. And that's that. The next one is actually a small graphic novel, and this was recommended to me through a video, not like directly recommended, but the hell is her name? I gotta watch her all the time. I literally watched her earlier today and I don't remember her name. Ah, yes. Katie is reading. That booktuber, she's great. Her reading vlogs are so cozy and she does so many great hobbies. And I love the books she reads. And so I got this rec from her, and that is Fangs by Sarah Anderson. And this is a graphic novel. I will I don't want to show you exactly everything that happens, but there's some artwork. And this is supposed to be cute. It is literally a love story between a vampire and a werewolf. That's what it says on this thing, if you can read it. There you go. But to give you one more sentence with that, Fangs is a whimsical and heartwarming graphic novel that follows the unconventional romance between Elsie, a 326-year-old vegan vampire, and Jimmy, a 20-something werewolf. Sounds cozy, sounds fun, sounds romantic. So this will be when I don't know what to read, I'll just read this in an hour or so probably. So I'm excited. There are like multiple candles behind me. I don't know if you can see this. Ooh, but I got this yesterday, so I'm gonna show it to you up close and personal. Yeah, it's my new candle. Can't have enough skeleton heads. Skulls? Yes, that's the word. Skulls in candle form. This is my second one. That will go back there. Next section has more than 2 books. Yay. But that makes this video longer, so I will get through it quickly, hopefully. First one is one that was on my previous TBR from last year, and that is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. And I really do want to get to it this year because I don't know why I just didn't pick it up last year, but I really am intrigued by this book. So let me read the synopsis. Set during World War I, Warm Hands of Ghosts follows Canadian siblings Laura, a nurse, and Freddie, a soldier. After Freddie goes missing, Laura returns to Belgium to find him. Meanwhile, Freddie, trapped in a German pillbox, forms a bond with a fellow soldier and enters a realm where the living and dead blur. Their stories converge around a mysterious fiddler who offers solace at a cost. Blending history and fantasy, the novel explores war's impact and the search for identity. Sounds sad, but also sounds maybe heartwarming and spooky. Ghosts. I put this in the gothic category because of the ghost. I mean, it's literally in the title. But I'm curious about it. It's also like not super long. Let's see how. Luckily, like most of these books are not super long, honestly. Yeah, it's like literally 300 pages. I can do that in like a day. No, I can't, but I can dream. The next one is kind of a newer release that everyone knows about, I feel like, at this point, and that is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Rachel Gillig does really good atmosphere for gothic novels, and I really enjoyed the Shepherd King duology, One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, and so I'm curious to see what this one is about. I think this is like a true adult novel. The other ones were like new adult, kind of blurring the lines a little bit. But I've heard like mixed things about this, but like mostly good. I think like the vibes are still there, I heard. So I will read you the synopsis. Sybil Delling is one of the 6 diviners serving a decade in the Cathedral of Aisling. I think that's how you say it. Or Eileen, where she receives prophetic dreams from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. As her service nears its end, a mysterious knight named Roderick arrives, skeptical of her visions. When Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish, she reluctantly seeks Roderick's help. Together they uncover dark secrets about the cathedral and embark on a perilous journey to confront the gods themselves. You know, give me a cathedral setting any day and I will read it because I love it. I love gothic books. And she is the queen of gothic atmosphere. Like, not the queen of gothic literature, obviously, but like her atmospheres are pretty damn good and get you in the mood for that. The next 2 I don't have physical copies of, so oh well, but the next one is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I just recently decided to add this to my list. Finally, I've been like going back and forth. It's been in my Kindle Unlimited library forever because it is on Kindle Unlimited. So I like have it. I don't know. I haven't done it, but I feel like fall is the perfect time to just do it. And the Cat Bite influenced me to finally just do it. So I am doing it. But it is set in wait, no, that is the wrong book. So Belladonna is a gothic fantasy novel set in a lush Victorian-inspired world where death is a constant presence. The story follows Signa Farrow, a 19-year-old orphan with a peculiar gift. She can see and communicate with spirits. Raised by a series of guardians who have all mysteriously died, Signa is sent to live with her wealthy relatives at the sprawling estate of Thornhill. There she becomes entangled in the mystery of her cousin Blythe's sudden death. As she navigates the eerie mansion and its secrets, Signa forms an unexpected connection with Death himself, who appears as a charmingly yet enigmatic figure. Together they delve into the shadows of the estate, uncovering truths that blur the lines between life and death. Death as a love interest, you know, I'm here for it. And it sounds super gothic, and I honestly probably will really like it. I don't know why I've been putting it off, but also the fact that the estate is called Thornhill. There's been this like graphic novel that I haven't been able to get out of my mind that was in a Little Free Library video, I think, with that Ellen posted at the Ellen May Book Club, and I have not been able to get it out of my head and I really want to try it. It's called Thornhill. So I will get to it at some point if I can find it. I keep looking for it at like used bookstores, but obviously that's like a really hard place to find things that you like are specifically looking for, as I realized today when I spent way too much money there. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Next and last book in the Gothic category, and that is Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris. This is also one that was from my TBR from last year, and I totally forgot about this book, honestly. And they didn't have it at Barnes & Noble, and I'm kind of mad about it. But I did ask them to order it, and they'll let me know, so hopefully I remember to go pick it up and buy it. So I have a reminder with me physically. That is honestly mainly the reason why I buy books for my TBR, so I can like actually remember what I planned on reading, even though it cost me a ton of money, which I don't need to spend, but I am anyways. And I also really need the library card, and that's a story for another day. I'm just too lazy. Strange Beasts is set in early 20th century Paris. It is a gothic fantasy that blends elements of Dracula and Sherlock Holmes. Samantha Harker, daughter of Jonathan and Mina Harker, works as a researcher for the Royal Society for the Study of Abnormal Phenomena. Possessing the rare ability to channel the minds of monsters, she is assigned to investigate a series of gruesome murders. Her partner is Dr. Helena Moriarty, daughter of the infamous criminal mastermind, whose previous partners have met mysterious ends. As they delve into the elite clubs and dark catacombs of Paris, their investigation becomes a race against time to stop a beast from its killing rampage, testing their trust and attraction to each other. Sapphic? Yes. We love some sapphic dark fantasy. So I'm excited to finally read this one. Hopefully I do, but I think if I have it physically, I will. So that's the point of buying books, I guess. The next category will go by quick because they are series continuations, and I can't really explain to you what these books are about. So I'm not gonna reach over here. Okay. Ooh, okay. First one, last year on my TBR was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This year, a year later, I want to finally read Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I've heard this one is better than Ninth House. Ninth House I had a lot of issues with, but also the ending kind of redeemed itself, so I don't really know, but I've heard this one is also a descent to hell. Hellbent. So we have a theme for this fall. It's hell. So hopefully it's not hell reading it. So excited to, well, hopefully excited. I feel a little tentative in like my excitement for finishing this series, but at least it's a duology and I'll like actually feel accomplishment once I read this. So hopefully that will get me to actually read it. Next is basically, I feel like I read one of these a year. I think that's been my cadence, and I think that's a good cadence because there's a lot of them and they're short and they're they're like emotionally draining because I cry like every time I read them. And right now I'm trying to get the Target sticker off because we don't shop at Target anymore, and I got this a long time ago. No, it's not like last time where I like ripped off the sticker and it like took part of the cover off. I promise. This one's like not budging though. Of course, freaking Target sucks. Honestly, their book selection wasn't even that great to begin with. It was like always just like book talk books and like romance and romantasy, just like kind of like the really popular, constantly talked about on social media books. So I don't really miss it, honestly, but I do miss the discounts. That's the one thing I missed, because it's been a minute since I've done like the Barnes & Noble like 50% off, like buy two get 50% off, and I haven't seen that in a while, so I don't know if they got rid of that. I mean, they probably are making a lot more money by getting rid of that, but still, I haven't seen that in a while, and I haven't used it in a while. So where is it? Someone tell me if you know. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. I just like felt compelled to, so I am using up my time on my SD card for no reason. I guess it's the best we're gonna get. But this is the third book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, and that is Before Your Memory Fades. I got this at the same time I got the second book, so I've had this for a long time, and I read the second book last year. And you know, they're very cozy, they're very quick reads. There's 4 books usually per, there's 4 stories usually per book, so it's quick to get through. Let me just double check, there's 4 in this one as well. Yeah, there's 4. Thank you for being consistent, Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I appreciate you. And I know this will make me cry again, but we're here for it, you know? I'm gonna need to let it out. So yeah, excited to like continue the series. I think there's like 2 more, if not 3 more books that are already out, so I gotta get to it. And then lastly, finally picked this up today, and it is a sequel to a book by one of my favorite authors that I read everything from, and that is A Theory in Dreaming. The Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reed. And this is the sequel to A Study in Drowning. And I checked, like I read like the first page to see if it was like different characters or the same characters, and it's the same characters, I think. So it is like a literal sequel to the first book, A Study in Drowning, which I was not expecting a sequel for this. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. And yeah, I don't really remember Studying in Drowning that much. I remember the vibes, like obviously that's why I read it, and you know I love Ava Reed's writing. It's very dark and weird, and so I'm curious what this is going to, or where this story is gonna go. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty book. This is like a Barnes & Noble edition, and I love that it's the same size as my other edition, which is like an Owl Crate edition, so it's not like weird on the shelves. Oh, thank you. Thank you, publishers, when you do that. I really appreciate it, because I hate when there's like a random size difference. This stack is gonna fall. Fuck. Okay, that wraps up my series continuation section. And lastly, we have the other books that I plan on reading. One of them is one that was on my anticipated fall releases vlog, but we decided to do that for my IRL book club, and that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. It's her adult debut. If you want to know the synopsis, go check out that video, please. And we're excited. I mean, I'm the only one I think that read anything by her before. I read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series and I loved it. So excited to read this one, but it's based in LA, and I'm scared about that because I live in LA. I grew up in LA, and I don't want to like hate the book because of the misrepresentation of LA, so we will see. That's that. And then my other buddy read for the month of September is Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. This is my second Chuck Palahniuk book, and I'm doing this buddy read with Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club, and we start now. I am behind schedule already, so I gotta go read. Fight Club is the movie. Like, if you've seen the movie, you know what this book is about. Well, we'll see if it's similar to the movie, but I'm not gonna give you a synopsis because I'm tired and this is taking too long. So the last category of the night is books that I might read this fall because I have them. And this list has changed from what I have. And but this is what I ended up with at the moment. The first one is one I actually picked up today at a used bookstore, and that is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I remember a while back a booktuber named Ashlyn Cayley read this book and then had her husband Ian Goobly also read this book, and they really liked it, but it was also like really dark and darker than they thought it would be because it's YA, and so it felt very fall. It was $8, you know. I got it, and we'll see how I feel about it, but I'll read the inside. 17-year-old Alice Prosperin and her mother have spent most of Alice's life on the road, always a step ahead of the uncanny bad luck biting at their heels. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a book of pitch-dark fairy tales, dies alone on her estate, the Hazelwood, Alice learns how bad her luck can really get. Her mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from the cruel supernatural world where her grandmother's stories are set. Alice's only lead is the message her mother left behind. Stay away from the Hazelwood. Gothic, I might say, maybe, I don't know. Creepy, weird, dark, yes. The next one is also one I've owned for a long time. Both of these next ones are by the same author. One's a tiny book, one's a new release. But the first one is Thorn Hedge by T. Kingfisher. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, yes, where a toad is the main character. So that's that. And then the new release from T. Kingfisher is Hemlock and Silver. This is my pretty new edition. Yes, there's a cat on the cover. There's this on the back. It's like a shiny sprayed edge. Woo! I guess I'll show you the rest of it. Why not? Here's the page. Here's the end page. Here's the book, Botanica, Materia Botanica. Very pretty. And then the flip side. There you go. There's a quick one. This one is a Snow White retelling. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I have it, so I might as well try to read it. But these are my maybes, once again, so we'll see if I get to them. Not like actually on my TBR, but thought I'd just tell you anyways, for no reason. So, that wraps up my lovely fall TBR. I think this one was a lot more chaotic than my 2024 one, but I'm curious, wait, how many books do I have on this TBR? Let me count because I want to compare from last year. Last year I know I had 26. This year, no, those don't count. Those are the maybes. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 21 in this video, plus the 10 from my upcoming releases. Well, 9, because one crosses over in Alchemy of Secrets. So, 30. 30 even. Great. Wow, I didn't even plan that. 30 books on my fall TBR. We'll see what happens. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my fall setup. There's more fall content to come, hopefully, but I have a pretty busy, crazy fall. So bear with me if I'm like posting on weird days, because this is going out on Monday. It's literally Sunday night. This was supposed to go out at 9 a.m. this morning, but that clearly didn't happen. So we will see what this season brings. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day or night. Bye. Okay. What am I doing? Nothing's burning, right? Okay. Okay, it's time to go to bed.